gut directly impacts how the brain functions. Without the gut, the brain cannot exist.
Dr. Dimple Jangda,
Dr. Dimple Jangda,
a world-renowned Ayurveda and gut health coach,
glamorous gut health coach and best-selling author,
to tackle gut health.
Your decisions actually come from your gut, not from your brain. When you feel anxious, scared, excited, happy, nervous, butterflies fluttering, where do you feel it?
In the gut.
Why not in the heart? Why not
Good
in
question.
the brain? Now you have this fancy car, a Rolls Royce. The engine matters. It doesn't matter what polish the car has, how fancy the interiors are. If the engine is not good, it's not healthy, it's not functioning, the car is of no use. Your gut is a fuel engine of your body. That's where your productivity, mental clarity, and success.
So good.
So, Ayurveda has a trick for it.
Oh,
and,
we love tricks.
Yes,
Tell us.
absolutely. It's a secret sauce, I would say.
Maybe you can give us some examples where the gut health can impact negatively the performance of a leader or an entrepreneur.
The gut directly impacts how the brain functions because the gut and the brain is connected directly through a neurosis that sends messages every micromillion second. Now, even while I'm speaking with you, my gut and my brain are continuously communicating with each other. They do not stop. There's a direct telephone line or a hotline. Okay, the vagus nerve, which is one of the biggest neural nerves, also connects the gut and the brain and is also communicating. And it's extremely sensitive to emotions and to gut health. Now, if the gut is not happy, it's going to send distress signals to the brain. And now your brain is divided between the distress and the conflict that's happening in the gut, in the stomach, and the small, large intestine, and the work in front of you. So if I had to go to an event or a meeting or an interview or a podcast like this, I plan my breakfast really well to suit the conversation.
Oh.
Okay, so I would wake up in the morning. Today I woke up at around 4:45. I woke up, did my meditation, chanting for 2.5 hours. Meditation and chanting also improves your gut health, by the way. It improves and strengthens the vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve controls information inside your body, right?
Okay.
So that's something that I do. You can do humming, you can do chanting. Humming also helps in strengthening the vagus nerve and the communication between the brain and the gut. And then I would have 2 glasses of water to first cleanse the GI tract of any kind of toxins, undigested food from the previous day. You don't want that inside your system. And then I would have some fruits, some seeds, some nuts, a vegetable juice if I have the time for it, and a bowl of porridge, which is half digested in the cooking process. I don't want my gut to spend a majority of the day digesting, absorbing, assimilating, and figuring out how to eliminate. Okay? The gut also contributes to my intuition. We have a gut feeling.
Yeah.
The intuition actually comes from your gut. Okay? The gut is called the second brain.
Yeah, tell me more about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want my gut to spend an entire day digesting food. I want the digestion process to be 30 minutes, 60 minutes, done. Okay? And now I want the gut to be empty and clean so that it can contribute to my logical thinking, my reasoning, my intuition, my decision making. Your decisions actually come from your gut, not from your brain. Now, imagine you're sitting in a business meeting, okay? You are about to make a big decision. You're the owner of this multi-billion-dollar company. And someone, from an Ivy League college says, I have a brain feeling this idea is going to work. And someone on the other side of the table who's a romantic says, I have a heart feeling this is going to work from the consumer's perspective. Okay? But you, being the businessman, you're going to say, I have a gut feeling, neither this nor that. This is the path. And who is right at the end? The person with a gut feeling, who defies all logics, who defies all calculations, who defies all blueprints on the paper, and says, hey, all said and done, my intuition, my gut feeling says, this is the right strategy. And that person who followed the gut feeling is always right. They always end up making the best decisions of their life, which catapults their career from one end to another end or makes them $1 billion, Your gut is called the second brain, not by coincidence. It is actually the second brain. It's contributing to your reasoning process, your logical thinking, your intuition, because the gut contributes to what is happening in the brain. When the gut is calm and relaxed, it stops sending distress signals to the brain.
Oh, I see.
And the gut is now producing intuitive survival intelligence. Okay? Now, this is a natural software that Mother Nature's installed inside of us. This is the hardware that we see. You know, you can see the brain, you can see the heart, you can see the liver. When you dissect a human body, you can see the physical appearance, right? This is the hardware. The software has been installed in every species, animal, plant, bird, human beings that exist on this planet. Mother Nature has designed you for survival, for good health, for longevity, and thus success in everything you do, right? So the natural intuitive software inside your gut is constantly telling you what to eat, what to drink. Don't touch this, don't touch that. Don't have that junk food, it's going to make me sick. When you listen to your gut, which is designed for survival, health, and longevity, you are then available for productivity and profitability.
Okay. So I think it would be good to understand how to develop that ability to listen to the gut. But before we go there,
Yeah.
so that everyone is on the same page, maybe you can help us to understand how does the gut works,
Yeah.
and why does it play such an important role in our life?
Oh my God, it's huge, right? So, you know, growing up, I always had very, very poor gut health, you know, and I didn't realize
really?
that. Yeah, I had very poor digestion, very poor metabolism. I was grossly underweight all my life, and I had trouble putting on weight. I had many, many diseases, many surgeries, and I'm still recovering from some of them, but I've been able to avoid my 5th surgery. I had 4 surgeries before I turned 18.
Wow.
And only after coming into Ayurveda, I think it was the universe's way of guiding me towards the best version of myself. I thought I was doing a service to the society by starting the clinic, but I was actually researching and learning a lot, and in the process, becoming the healthiest version of myself, the happiest version of myself. Now, the gut plays such a critical role, and I say this from having had bad gut health to having now good gut health, okay? The gut is the center of your existence. How? Now, you have this fancy car, a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW or a Rolls-Royce, you know, can be anything on the outside. The engine matters, right?
Oh.
Doesn't matter what polish the car has, what color the car is, what fabric the upholstery is in the car, how fancy the interiors are. If the engine is not good, it's not healthy, it's not functioning, the car is of no use. Your gut is a fuel engine of your body. Okay, the gut is where the food passes after digestion. So some scientists say that the gut lies below the stomach and it's made up of the small, large intestine and the colon.
Yeah.
Some scientists say the gut includes everything from the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small, large intestine to colon. Everything that contributes to the digestion, absorption, assimilation process. Now, both two theories are correct in their own ways. Now, let's assume the gut is everything that contributes to the digestion, absorption, assimilation. The gut is absorbing, assimilating the nutrients from the food you've eaten. These nutrients pass through the gut wall. The gut wall is permeable.
Okay.
The gut wall is porous. The gut wall has minute channels, and thousands of blood vessels are attached to your gut that are receiving the nutrition. And these blood vessels, they're called channels in Ayurveda, strotas. Now, these channels are taking the nutrition to the various organs that they're designated to go to. The heart, brain, liver, kidney, intestine, gallbladder. So this is your fuel engine. This is the kitchen of your apartment. This is the engine of your car. Your gut is here, and this is where all the nutrition is coming from for the brain, heart, liver, kidney, intestine, colon to function. Without the gut, the brain cannot exist. Without a digestive health, the brain cannot exist. Without the digestive health, the heart cannot exist. If they didn't have a steady supply of nutrition and oxygenated blood, these organs cannot exist, okay? So this is how important your gut is for survival and existence. Now, I have seen rare stories of patients who are paralyzed neck down, but they've lived a long life, despite the rest of the organs not functioning.
Because of the gut.
Because the gut was still able to digest
I
food
see.
and supply nutrients to the heart, liver, brain, and the internal organs that are required for survival. Despite the arms not moving, despite the legs not moving, despite having no sensation in the lower part of the body, I have seen people perfectly survive a long life. Now, they may not be healthy from the medical perspective because they're paralyzed neck down. But I've found some of these people at the happiest level of their life. Not only because they made peace with the situation, but because they were allowing the body to decide what is best now. They've stopped interfering. The gut is now working at its very best to keep that person healthy and alive, right? So your gut is that critical. If your gut shuts down, you could have intravenous fluids being pumped into your body, but there's not very long that you can sustain that, process.
Wow. So that's, so it's at the center. Maybe you can help us to understand a few examples on how the gut can impact, for example, our mental health, our emotions, our sleep. What is the process that happens in our gut that contributes to
feeling these?
Yeah, to feeling this.
So, let's begin with mental and emotional health.
Yeah.
When you feel anxious, scared, excited, happy, nervous, butterflies fluttering, where do you feel it?
Yeah, in the gut.
Why not in the heart? Why not
Good
in
question.
the brain? Right? The brain is what is deciphering that emotion, right?
Yeah.
Why not the brain? Why are we not feeling nervousness and butterflies fluttering here? Why are we not experiencing it in the heart? Isn't this where the feelings are created? Feelings and emotions are actually created and stored in the gut, not in the heart, not in the brain.
The feelings and emotions
are created and stored in the gut, not in the heart, not in the brain. The brain only allows you to understand and label the emotion that you're experiencing.
Oh, so meaning every emotion, every experience is
stored in the
gut.
Yes. So 70 to 80% of your emotions, of your memories are stored in the gut. Okay. So when you feel anxious, scared, excited, happy, your gut starts gurgling. It starts experiencing some movement because you're made of microbiome. You're made of microbes, bacteria, and a majority of the bacteria are here. Your gut has billions and trillions of bacteria. A healthy adult has 1 kilogram of bacteria in the gut. Right?
1 kilo.
1 kilogram is a healthy amount of bacteria in a healthy adult. 85% is good bacteria, 15% is bad bacteria. Now, your bad bacteria can drive your mood swings towards a negative emotion. So if you have unhealthy bad bacteria, you could feel anxiety. You could be anxious all the time and irritable and restless. It could also contribute to you feeling uncomfortable all the time and then making bad decisions. Your bad bacteria also drive your cravings. It starts, telling you to eat junk food because your bad bacteria thrives and grows on unhealthy food. Okay? Your good bacteria will drive your intuition. Your good bacteria will drive your serotonin. 90% of the serotonin that we have in our body is actually generated in the gut, not in the brain, not in the heart. So your happiness also comes from the gut. So if you've had a box of delicious, organic, homemade, handcrafted chocolates, you're going to feel so happy. Serotonin is getting released. But if you've had a poor quality food, you will feel a dopamine hit or a serotonin hit temporarily, but the subsequent crash will be much worse than you were before you had that chocolate, before you had that unhealthy food. So that's what is happening with most of these addictive foods like, burgers and French fries and pizza. It gives you a dopamine hit. It builds the neural pathways to reward in your brain, tricking your brain into thinking that you're rewarding yourself.
But it feeds the bad bacteria.
Yes. And the subsequent crash you have from having had that food is you're feeling restless, tired, exhausted, fatigued because your gut is not able to digest that sticky food which is getting stuck to the intestines. Refined flour when mixed with water literally turns into glue-like substance. Okay, and cheese, most of the cheese that you have processed from the industries and factories, they glue-like substance. You feel it, the cheese, stringy cheese. A good quality cheese will probably not, give you that kind of an impact of indigestion, right? Now, your gut is going through a series of discomfort, indigestion, bloating, gas, because that food is now rotting, putrefying, and releasing gases inside your system because it's not getting digested, absorbed, or assimilated. And it's stuck in your intestines for several days together. Now, you eat a fresh food. Even that is reacting or getting stuck to that glue. And the fresh food is now reacting with the old food, rotting, putrefying, and releasing gases as well.
Oh my God.
Right? So your good and bad bacteria drives your physical comfort.
Yes.
Are you comfortable here? Then your good bacteria are active. Are you uncomfortable here? Then your bad bacteria are active. The good and bad bacteria also drive your mental health. Are you focused? Do you have clarity? Are you productive? Are you able to finish your job on time or before time? Or are you feeling anxious and tired and lacking coordination and concentration, experiencing mood swings and irritability? It's your bacteria that's driving your emotions. So your mental and emotional health is directly influenced by your gut flora, the bacteria living here.
Oh, and how do I know if what is the status of my gut?
So if you're feeling comfortable,
Yeah.
if your digestion is very good,
Okay.
okay, you are able to eat a meal and you don't have any discomfort after having had the meal, no bloating, no indigestion, no symptoms of burning sensation, acidity, reflux, your bowel movements are great. Number 2, no constipation, no diarrhea, no IBS. Number 3, your energy levels are great. You're not experiencing fatigue. Your mental clarity is great. You're not experiencing brain fog, which is becoming very common. It's a sign of indigestion.
Ooh.
Brain fog is a sign of indigestion, is a result of indigestion. And if you're able to do your daily jobs with a sense of happiness, that means your gut is healthy. Okay. So the first few signs you look out for is your digestion great? Is your bowel movements great? Are you able to eliminate toxins on a daily basis without any added effort or external purgatives? Which is becoming very common nowadays for people to have laxatives and purgatives, to be able to eliminate toxins. And your energy levels is a direct visual, map of your gut health. You can see, and your skin and hair, by the way, also reflects your gut health. If you have pimples and acne, it talks about poor gut health.
Ooh.
Right? And if you have a leaky gut syndrome, it has been proven by modern scientists, it triggers skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, urticaria, because the nutrients and the undigested food are getting leaked into your bloodstream because of a leaky gut syndrome. And your body's autoimmune system doesn't know the difference between the good and the bad nutrients, and it's attacking everything. So when your immune system is attacking itself inside, it creates an inflammatory condition, then can lead to diseases. And now that leaked toxins are rushing towards the surface of the skin, hoping to come out through the pores in the form of sweat, but the toxins are too big and they're causing pimples, acne, psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, urticaria. So this is also a sign of poor gut health or a leaky gut syndrome, which has become a conversation of interest for many scientists around the world.
It's so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's really, really fascinating.
Yeah, it's a very scientific approach to health, but it's also very logical.
Yeah.
Like your digestion is the beginning of your existence.
Yeah. So maybe you can give us examples of, like, what are some examples of some mistakes, common mistakes that people make that affects their gut health, and maybe they are not aware about it.
Yeah. Number 1 is eating wrong portion of food. Okay. People have started having a big breakfast as soon as they wake up because they think they've been fasting for 8 hours and hence they must break it with having a big breakfast. That was a huge trend back in the day. And then a new trend came saying intermittent fasting, skip your breakfast, eat only for 8 hours, and eat a big lunch and a big dinner late in the night if you want to, but don't eat anything during the day. That again has been linked to cardiac arrest. Okay? These trends are wrong. Don't fall for that. The only thing that is eternal and never changing is Mother Nature. These trends and dietary fads will come and go, will create an impact and show you short-term results, but with long-term side effects on your health. Right? Birth control pills became a rage, and now it has been linked with 10% increased risk of heart attack and stroke in women. Right? Now, everything comes with a pro and a con or an expiry date, especially trends and fads. Mother Nature doesn't come with an expiry date. She will survive beyond us. We are self-destructive. Mother Nature is not. Okay? You follow the cycle of the sun, and the circadian rhythm in your body has to be synced with the movement of the sun. That's the first thing you must do. If you are someone at a CXO position, please remember, just like how you are in a center position of your company to make decisions, the sun is in the center position of your universe at the moment. Okay? We cannot become bigger than the sun at the moment. I don't see it happening for a few million years, that humanity will overtake the sun. The solar system has been designed in such a way that we have day and night, and our metabolic fire in our system understands the movement of the sun and corresponds to the position of the sun. So when the sun rises, our metabolic fire also starts rising. This is a time for you to start your day off with fluids and then semi-solids or soft foods like fruits or vegetable juices, and then maybe a porridge, which is still a semi-solid, a small breakfast. And then in the afternoon, when the sun is at the peak, your metabolic fire is at the peak, you have the biggest meal of the day. Okay? And when the sun is setting, you have the smallest meal of the day again for dinner.
Okay.
Don't eat foods after sunset. I do that too sometimes. If I'm late and, it's better than going to bed with a hunger pang and a headache. So I eat a little something, but I eat something that is easy to digest, like maybe a bowl of soup, vegetable soup, maybe a bowl of boiled vegetables, or maybe a glass of organic cow's milk, which is cruelty-free, or plant-based milk, right? So if you follow the position of the sun, eat a small breakfast, big lunch and small dinner before sunset. I know most of you are working long hours.
Yeah.
The trick is to carry your lunch and dinner to work. You eat breakfast together with your family. Eat lunch at work. Eat supper at work before sunset. And when you come back home, you freshen up and spend quality time with your family, doing things that you guys love together. And if you're hungry, you can share a bowl of soup. That's one trick that will help you. That's number one. Number two is pay attention to what you're ordering or what you're eating or what you're cooking. We're in such a rush to get to work or get back to, our meetings or our conversations because we're making big money there. We're getting to see big results. Don't make wealth at the cost of your health. You're chipping away parts of your health to build wealth for your family. And then a time will come when you'll have to give up that wealth to get your health back. And that suffering is unfair to you and to your family. Right? So you are the author of your own health and disease. When you're eating food, please give it undivided attention, whether it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long it takes. I eat meals over 1 hour. It takes me 1 hour sometimes to finish a good lunch because I eat so slowly. I keep munching and chewing my food. Of course, you don't have to spend 1 hour. Eat it in half an hour. Eat it in 20 minutes. But at least give it quality time. Focus on chewing your food. God gave us 32 teeth for a reason. Or maybe 28 in some cases. Right? Chew your food 32 times and then let it turn into liquid, semi-solid liquid. Let it go into your stomach, small, large intestine. Get up after your meal and walk 100 steps. It's like starting the blender. Your intestine requires a little help from you. Your stomach requires a little help from you. It just requires you to start the movement of blending, of digesting. The stomach is churning the food left, right, center to digest it. Take 100 steps after every meal. Get up from your chair. Don't keep sitting. Most CEOs and CXOs that I see come to me with one stagnant problem, which is their belly. They're like, I exercise, I work hard, I have a very busy career, I eat well, I eat clean, and yet I have this belly. That's because all that food is sitting undigested in your gut. It hasn't had the opportunity to move down. And people, by the way, have 10 to 15 pounds of backed up waste sitting inside their system. 10 to 15 pounds of backed up waste that hasn't got eliminated because, our intestines, our gut is very complex. It's not like a carnivore. Our intestines are similar to a herbivore. We have 22 feet long small intestine, 6 feet long large intestine, 28 feet of the pipes. So the food has to travel this long journey from the stomach to the colon and you need to aid it. So how do you do it? Digest your food well in your mouth. Digestion begins in the mouth. Don't just inhale your food. Don't just gulp and swallow your food whole. Chew it into liquid and then swallow it. Walk 100 steps after every meal. Don't drink too much water, cokes, aerated drinks and beverages during your meal because you're diluting your stomach juices. The digestive juices have been prepared with a lot of effort to digest the food you're going to eat, right? And pay attention to what you're eating. Use your eyes, nose, ears, mouth for the process of consumption. Because when you look at food, when you touch food with your hands versus eating from a fork and a knife, okay, when you hear the sound of food when you're chewing, when you taste the food and roll it around, you see a wine sommelier, they will roll it around in their mouth for a few minutes, right? Because they know it's an expensive wine. You don't just gulp it down and you need to experience the flavor. When you do these activities, engaging your external senses to consume that food, you're sending messages continuously to the brain on what kind of food you're about to consume, whether it's hot or cold or spicy or sour or salty or rough or greasy. And the brain then communicates to the gut on what kind of food to expect. The gut then starts preparing digestive juices to welcome the new guest. And then, of course, there's another subject called food chemistry, which I specialize in, the combinations of foods that you should eat and avoid, which can also contribute to your productivity because the right combination of food will nourish your gut and thus your brain. A wrong combination of food will cause distress in your gut and thus affect your coordination, concentration, and productivity.
But I think that's very interesting for our audience because we're so busy. So how can we? What is your advice? simple things that we can do in order to improve our gut health through food. But that's some small advice.
Okay, now look at the foods, okay? Different food groups have different shelf life and
Okay.
thus different digestion periods, okay? Start with water. Water has a permanent shelf life, by the way. You know, when you look at from the universe's perspective, it can neither be created nor destroyed. It's a few billion years old, older than humanity. But water shelf life is different, right? It can be digested very quickly. You know, I'm not talking about the packaged water. Fresh water that you boil and keep aside is great for 12 hours. You know, you drink it immediately and it nourishes your body, and water moves down very quickly down your system. Okay, so if you drink a lot of water now, within an hour, you're ready to go to the bathroom. But natural. Fruits, they have a better shelf life, right? When you buy fruits, they can stay on the shelf for about 6 days, 7 days before they start rotting. They also get digested very quickly. When you eat fruits or drink fruit juice, it spends 1 hour in your stomach, 1 hour in your small intestine, 1 hour in your large intestine, and it's ready for elimination. But because there's not much waste from fruits, you do not go to the washroom immediately because there's not much waste accumulated. Fruits get digested very quickly. So if you had a fruit salad, you'll get hungry within an hour. You've noticed you just had a fruit salad and you're like, I'm ready for the next meal.
True.
Why? Because the fruit has moved from the stomach to the small intestine, and the stomach is now empty and it's gurgling and burping, signaling to you for more food. You have those gurgling sounds coming from your stomach sometimes. You know, it's a sign of hunger. Vegetables have a longer shelf life than fruits, and fiber, which takes a little longer than fruits to get digested.
How much?
Vegetables take 2 hours in the stomach,
Okay.
2 hours in the small intestine, 2 hours in the large intestine. Now, this is a rough approximate calculation I'm giving. Okay, so if you had a bowl of, say, boiled vegetables or steamed salads or raw vegetables or cooked vegetables without any legumes, lentils, beans or protein in it, you would get hungry within 2 hours. If you had just salad for lunch, you'd get hungry very quickly. You'll be ready for the next meal because the food has got digested and moved from the stomach to the small intestine, and the stomach is now empty and ready for the next meal. Take the next food group. Grains, pulses, legumes, lentils, nuts and seeds. They have a very long shelf life. They can stay on your shelf for about a year, 2 years, depending on how well you store it. And the cooking process is also longer. You know, when you're cooking, it takes much more time, water and effort for that food to break down. You have to pre-soak them overnight or pre-soak them for a few hours in the morning to be able to cook it, to break it down. Your gut also takes a lot of time to break down lentils, legumes, beans, pulses, nuts, seeds. They spend 18 hours in your system. 6 hours in the stomach, 6 hours in the small intestine, and 6 hours in the large intestine. Okay, 18 hours, and they're ready for elimination the next morning when you wake up.
Ooh, 6 hours in each. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, of course,
And
we
then?
don't eat just plain lentils
This
and
is
legumes.
so
right?
fascinating. Yeah.
So how do we eat lentils, legumes, beans, rice? We cook them with some vegetables. Because vegetables have fiber that can move the food down, and lentils and legumes don't have that much fiber. And it can cause bloating and discomfort. If you have just plain legume, it is sitting in your gut. You can feel it sitting like a rock in your stomach. Imagine you had a dish without any vegetables cooked in it. Like you feel heavy. So when you cook vegetables and legumes together, it reduces the digestion period also. Because vegetables require 2 hours, grains require 6 hours in the stomach. It comes together and within 3 to 4 hours, it's digested. So when you have a well-cooked meal that's balanced with vegetables, grains, legumes, rice, carbs, proteins, you will be hungry within 3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
Okay? That's normal. Coming to the last food group, animal-based protein.
Animal, yeah.
Okay? When it comes to meat, seafood, eggs, it takes 72 hours to get digested. Now, this has been proven by modern scientists. It can take
72?
Yeah, it can take anywhere between 48 hours to 72 hours, 2 to 3 days for that food to be completely broken down and digested in your system. It's a complex protein. Animal-based foods are complex. They were designed for survival. They were not designed to become a meal. So their body is designed for longevity. Okay? A goat, a sheep, a cow, a buffalo, a chicken can live for years. They're not designed for digestion, they're designed for survival. That's how nature designed them. And unlike carnivores, we do not have canines.
Yeah.
Unlike carnivores, our saliva is not that acidic. Okay? unlike carnivores, we don't have sharp nails to tear meat and flesh. Carnivores have a small gut, which is just 6 feet long, small and large intestine. They consume meat and they can eliminate it within a few hours. But human beings have a complex gut, 22 feet long, small intestine, 6 feet long, large intestine, 28 feet approximately. That's like a 4-story building.
Yeah.
That's how long the food has to travel. So when you eat complex animal-based foods like meat and seafood and eggs, it takes really long for it to travel down. That's why monks, sages, spiritual leaders, and those who are in the process of academics or, readers, learners, many leaders have chosen to go on a plant-based diet because they take less time to get digested, absorbed and assimilated, leaving the gut empty, and they're able to focus on their activities. So if you see some of the most brilliant scientists in the world, right from Albert Einstein to, the who's who, they did not spend much time eating lavish meals. They did not have a 9-course meal or complex dishes. They would be content with a bowl of vegetable soup or stew or some boiled food. They had very simple meals and they would eat sporadically. They didn't eat all the time because they were engaging with intellectual capabilities and faculties. Sages and monks eat only 1 meal a day. They do not eat 3 times a day, 2 times a day. There's a saying in Ayurveda, in yoga, that a person who eats 1 meal a day is a yogi because he's finished the process of digestion and now the gut is contributing to the intuition and the spiritual pursuits of that person. And the person is engaged in higher activities of the mind, of the faculties of the mind. Someone who eats 2 meals a day is called a bhogi, and they enjoy the taste of food. Okay, so you could eat a breakfast at 10, and then you could eat another meal at 4 or 6. You have a 6-hour gap because you enjoy the taste of food. You enjoy the process of eating. Okay, the third category is called a rogi, someone who eats 3 meals a day. Rogi means
the rogi.
Yeah, rogi means diseased. So when we eat too many meals a day, the gut doesn't get time to digest, absorb, and assimilate. The undigested food is getting mixed with the fresh food you're eating, and they're all reacting with each other, rotting, putrefying, releasing gases.
I see,
so,
I see.
Having 5 to 6 meals a day has become very common for some people who have weak digestion metabolism, which is fine. We give them small portions of food, to improve their metabolic health. Once the health has improved, we bring them down to 3 meals, then we bring them down to 2 meals. And now people have moved to 1 meal a day, which is called OMAD. That is the highest level of productivity, intellectual capabilities, and spiritual growth. And this is what monks and sages do. They eat 1 meal a day.
Thank you so much. There's so much there to unpack, but now I can understand, when I'm eating, what's the impact that has in my gut, how long does it stay? I think now the question that comes to my mind, what would be maybe simple tips in terms of the combinations of food that we should do, and also in terms of time to eat the food, so that to optimize our performance.
So if we dial back, I spoke about the different food groups. Like there's water, there's fruits, vegetables, grains, pulses, legumes, lentils, nuts, and seeds, and then there is animal-based foods. Now, water is compatible with everything, right? You can drink water while you're eating fruits. You can drink water while you're eating a bowl of vegetable salad or grains and legumes. You can drink water throughout the day. When you sip water throughout the day, it dilates the stomach acids. The stomach acids are acidic in nature that can cause a burning sensation. But when we're sipping water throughout the day, it reduces the acidic level of the stomach acids and makes it alkaline. And, there is a saying that cancer cannot exist in an environment that's alkaline. So you could literally just be water fasting to kill the cancer cells.
Yeah.
Right? That's also a very effective method. Coming to fruits, Ayurveda says that fruits are incompatible with many food groups. Eat it alone. Or leave it alone. Now, fruits is a rich source of vitamin C, and it reacts with dairy-based products. Okay? It causes a curdling process because the protein in dairy reacts with vitamin C and starts breaking and curdling. Like lemon breaks and curdles milk. The same process happens between all fruits and dairy products.
So no fruits and dairy together?
Never have fruits and dairy.
Okay.
Now, the process is slower, between, say, yogurt and berries. People have yogurt with berries and strawberries, but I have seen a lot of patients from Greece coming to our clinic with skin disorders. And it was written in Ayurveda, and I'm not saying it because we observed it in some patients. It was said in Ayurveda that berries and cherries, strawberries, even apples are a rich source of vitamin C. Okay? Even your tomatoes, pineapples are rich source of vitamin C. Now, vitamin C continues to react with the animal-based protein, okay, with the calcium, with the lactase, right, in the dairy products, and it continues to curdle and break on its way down your esophagus into your stomach, small, large intestine. It might not curdle immediately, but also when you eat dairy products and fruits, you're not eliminating them immediately. They stay in your system for 24 hours. In those 24 hours, they're reacting with each other. Now, the argument is the stomach acids are there to dilate the process, but the stomach acids only exaggerates the process. So if you eat spicy chilies, your stomach acids will aggravate and exaggerate the process of heat. If you instead have cucumbers or watermelon, which is cooling, the stomach acids will be cooled down too. It exaggerates what has been given to aid the digestion process. If you ate fermented foods, it can also cause heat in the body because the stomach acids creates a conducive environment for the fermented food to continue fermenting.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Right? Your stomach acids are not neutral to everything. They don't have the same reaction with all food groups. They have different reaction with different food groups. So when you have fruits and dairy, they're reacting with each other. So don't combine fruits and dairy. It often leads to long-term impact on your skin, leaky gut syndrome. It can lead to allergies, frequent cold and cough. It can even lead to irritable bowel syndrome because your gut and your bowels are now irritated by the wrong combinations of foods, creating undigested metabolic waste, stripping away the mucus and the good fat lining of the gut walls, thus eroding the protection layer and causing leaky gut syndrome, irritable bowel syndrome, and such conditions. Fruits, eat it alone or leave it alone. The only thing fruits can be mixed with is nuts.
Okay.
Now, nuts and fruits come from the same food group. They have similar enzymes. What are nuts? They are dried fruits, dehydrated fruits. So they have a similar digestive enzymes, although nuts have a longer shelf life. So what nuts will do to the fruits is, because of its long shelf life and because of its longer duration for digestion, the nuts will slow down the sugar absorption from fruits. It prevents a glucose spike. Now, fruits are also a rich source of sucrose and fructose, right? Which is great. It gives you that sudden burst of energy and pick-me-up that you need during the day. Pairing it with nuts prevents the glucose spike, especially if you're pre-diabetic or have history of diabetes in your family. But if you're someone who's already healthy, who exercises a lot every day, who has a balanced diet and a good circadian rhythm, you can eat fruits on your own. Okay? Fruits cannot be mixed with even vegetables because the fruit acids, the vitamins and nutrients, minerals in fruits are easily digested, absorbed, and assimilated within the hour.
Oh, yeah.
But vegetables have fiber that add bulk to your waste that want more time in your system. So when you mix these two, you're not allowing the body to better absorb the nutrients from the fruits or work with the fiber. You have to give one food group at a time. Now, vegetables can be mixed with grains and pulses because grains and pulses have no fiber. The vegetable fiber will aid the digestion process of beans and legumes and pulses, right? And if you can minimize your consumption of animal-based products, I would urge everybody to consider this, not just from a humanitarian perspective or an environmental perspective, but look at it from the perspective of your own health. Okay? Animal-based foods are dangerous for many, many reasons. Okay? The consumption of red meat and processed meat has actually been linked with 27% increased risk of colorectal cancer, which is becoming very common even amongst youngsters below the age of 40. Okay? It has been proven by research, by modern scientists around the world that consumption of animal-based foods increases the risk of cholesterol, blood pressure, diabetes, heart health issues, and cancer. Endocrine disruption also happens due to the consumption of animal-based foods. Why? Because animals get complex diseases like human beings. Animals get cancer. Animals get blood pressure, diabetes, hormonal imbalances, mental health issues, thyroid gland getting ruptured, or their gut health not working. They're also releasing toxins inside the body. Animals get cancer. Plants don't get cancer. Plants get a local form of cancer because their cells are fixed. It doesn't move. Unlike an animal or a human being where our cells are constantly moving, plant cells are fixed. The cancer is also fixed. So if one part of the plant gets cancer, the rest of the plant is still healthy. Plants are simple beings. So when you eat simple foods, you get the nutrition from that food. When you eat complex foods, you're also consuming the disease from that food. So instead of feeding your diseases, you have to make a conscious choice and decision that I don't want to feed my diseases. I want to feed my health.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Well, there's so many thoughts because there's so many mistakes that we do, and with a little bit of knowledge, we can improve our gut.
Yes.
We can improve our overall health and our performance.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So something that I'm going to stop doing, for example, is to eat fruits after a meal. For sure, that's what you say, because it takes the digestion is very, very fast, right?
It actually leads to discomfort. If you've noticed,
Yes.
when you eat fruit as a dessert after a meal, what it does is the digested fruit starts pushing the undigested meal into the small, large intestine.
Oh.
And then they start releasing gases
Yes.
and bloating and indigestion. Or the undigested food keeps the digested fruit in the stomach longer than needed.
Yes.
And now the fruit acids are reacting with the stomach acids, creating more acidity.
Yeah.
So either you're experiencing indigestion or acidity.
Yeah.
So it's the other way around. Eat a fruit, wait for an hour, and then eat your meal.
Yeah.
Or eat your meal and wait for 2 to 3 hours before you have your fruit.
Yeah. But what is interesting is that, for example, all this, for me, it was all about education. A lot of things a lot of mistakes were coming from my family. But I'm happy that today we have more information available, so that I learned so much with what you say, and I want to implement a couple of things already in my life. Now, for the people who are watching, we want to improve our performance. Let's say like energy. How can we give us some, maybe a few tips on, as a leader, like how can I increase my energy and my mental clarity to take better decisions?
So, Ayurveda has a trick for it.
Okay? We love tricks.
Yes,
Tell us.
Absolutely. It's a secret sauce, I would say. Ayurveda has the Ayurvedic energy clock.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about how our energy levels are throughout the day. Okay? Now, between 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. is the Vata clock in Ayurveda, when our mental faculties are really sharp. Now, Vata is made of air and space, and it governs our mental faculties, our nervous system, and our digestive health. Okay? So, between 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., Vata becomes active, and it also stimulates the colon to actively eliminate toxins. So, your colon becomes active between 5 to 7 a.m. So if you wake up early in the morning, your body will be able to 100% eliminate all the toxins and waste from the system. And you'll be able to engage in intellectual activities like meditation, chanting, praying. It's called the Brahma Muhurat in Indian science, in Hinduism. Brahma Muhurat is the time when your mental faculties are at the sharpest level, and it's the hour of creation where whatever you manifest comes true. Mm-hmm. So waking up in the morning is the number one trick to success, to improve productivity, efficiency, and to better mental clarity. Okay, number one. Number two, making sure you sleep early. Okay, lots of people have now started engaging in a lot of distractions. They're constantly on the phone, scrolling, they're doing a lot of other activities, which is unnecessary. Instead, if you switched off your electronics and all the blue light emitting equipments at 9 o'clock, and then go to the room and switch off the lights slowly and bring it down to just one little light to be able to read a book. When you limit your eye activity, your eye consumes 10 million bits of information per second. But now you're not consuming so much information through your eye because you've shut down majority of your visual bandwidth. And now you only have the book that is black and white, preferably, instead of reading from a Kindle or something that emits blue light. When you're reading from a book, it calms your eyes down. And it soothes your senses and lulls your brain into relaxation. And the darkness around you is stimulating the production of melatonin, which is produced in response to darkness. If you fall asleep by 10 p.m., that is a win-win formula. 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., your body is actively going through the Pitta phase or the Pitta energy clock, which allows deep REM sleep, rapid eye movement, This is a deep REM sleep where you're dreaming in black and white. You're sleeping still. You do not move for those 4 hours, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. And your liver actively starts collecting toxins from all over the body and starts pushing it towards the gut and colon. So between 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. is when you should have the urge to go to the bathroom. So if you get your 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. sleeping clock right, and 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., figure out a time which is convenient for you to wake up. You can wake up at 6, 5, 4, 3. I have seen some incredibly successful people waking up at 3, waking up at 4. That's where your productivity, mental clarity, and success is going to come from.
Wow, this is so good. So good. Dr. Dimple, I learned so much. You shared so much information. Thank you so much for enlightening us. And it's just, now I realize the real importance of gut.
Yeah.
And when we are thinking about how can we grow our business, how can, start by your gut. Right?
Absolutely. Your gut contributes to your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, contributes to your productivity, efficiency, mental clarity, intuitive abilities, and thus contributes to your spiritual growth and overall existence.
Yes. So good. Thank you so much for coming. I enjoyed it so much.
I'm so
and I
glad.
already have some ideas I want to implement right after our conversation. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, and I hope everybody benefits from this conversation. At least if we can fix our gut health and circadian rhythm, we have our 2 secret sauces for success.